Hello YouTube, this is Justin Game 44, and today we are here to do a review of Dragon in the Nine Realms Season 3. Now, these are my quick thoughts and everything, what I have thought about the season. I haven't really seen anyone really talk about the Season 3 yet, all that much, but personally to me, I actually really did enjoy it, and I think it's one of the best seasons we got from the other two. Season 1 was alright. I mean, nothing great. It was pretty much the introduction to all the characters and the dragons. Season 2, on the other hand, I did have a few problems with, Tom keeping the secret, the helmet thing from his friends. I felt like they could give it a little bit more reason why. But also, another reason is because the introduce of June's brother. Like, I felt like he could have just been introduced in the first season. Because I thought we were done introducing new characters for now, and then him just being the first episode and being the last two-parter. And then Buzzsaw, we don't see him again after the very first episode. He comes in one of the episodes in season 2, and then we never see him again. But honestly, season 3 had done things a lot more better than I could have thought. Bringing back the original dragons, I have seen many people complain about that, but honestly, I don't really care. I do hope they do keep introducing new kinds of dragons as well, but I'm okay with them bringing back the old kinds of dragons as well, since they don't know anything about these dragons, like the original How to Train Your Dragon crew did with the Dragon Riders. Like Hiccup and his friends, they all knew about these kinds of dragons, so of course they know what they are. But Tom and his friends are learning about these dragons, and they have zero information, so they're slowly learning about them. But also, and also they're completely new to them. But also, really, what I like about episode 1, first of all, I found it a bit weird that they introduced the fire suits. I wasn't really a big fan of that. But honestly, I'm glad they didn't just introduce it where they all have fires, where they're all wearing dragon armor, and there's no explanation to it. They did actually pretty much explain where Tom and they're all starting to test it out, and Alex kind of explains how she made them, at least a little bit. I do kind of think we should get a sequel, but really, I don't really find it a big deal. Like the saddles, I mean, yeah, you didn't really mention how you make them, but hey, at least it's not really a big deal to me, but still. But other than that, I really found the episode funny. I know many people hated when how Tom and Thunder became friends by just over food, and Tom kind of made a joke about it, and the way how Thunder looked at him was hilarious. And anyway, they got the Monster Nightmare, and honestly, it was actually a good episode seeing how to tame the Monster Nightmare. Eventually, they become friends together. I was a little bit shocked, like, wow, you set Tom on fire and he's not burned. I was like, that doesn't make no sense, but then they quickly explain how. Although I do think he should have been a little bit burned since he wasn't covered with all that green goo. I forgot what it's called, Flamo Gel something. But because it was dry, it actually protected Tom. I do think if he was completely covered or more of it, he shouldn't have got burned, but still. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Because anyway, it uses as a reason. It's also used to explain how the fire suits are made. I'm calling them fire suits because they basically need them to go into the fire realm and to keep themselves from not burning alive. Anyway, the other episodes honestly were more amazing because during each episode we see different development until it already happens. Like most of the episodes we now see Gene in compared to the last season where he was in the first episode, we barely really seen him besides being introduced and kind of serve as a threat of exposing, but not really that much since he knows Cyril. And then the very last episode he kind of sees where he just goes wandering around asking, but really that doesn't go anywhere. And then he gets to June's wound, finds the book, and when he just says lame, and you kind of think, oh, there was potential there, and it was just ruin or this or that. It was more of a joke, but really in season 3, he remembers the book when he meets Buzzsaw and he describes the lightning bird, and he realized the imagery, which okay, now that scene did had a reason to exist. And honestly, I like the time he was in the first episode, where he was actually explaining. Not just that, but honestly with Tom, it was really a good part. And then him slowly trying to find out about June's secret, and he even tried to expose one of the dragons when June and Alex had the fireworm. That was actually interesting. Quite honestly, it was interesting seeing him in multiple episodes, and then when he finally found them, I mean, they could have just simply made where he just found. They didn't really show him until he eventually found the base, and then to me that would just been like out of nowhere because you found dragons lame. But seeing him where he wants to join his club, join their club, besides he finds it stupid, but only because it's boring. Then find out dragons do exist. Then slowly trying to get June to tell the truth, and then when the fire warn, he tries to expose it to their mother, but that fails as well. Then eventually he does find their base, which personally to me that actually worked very well. As well with the other episodes that came after with him finding out he tames a dragon and befriends it, which it's kind of funny when you think about it. June Wong has a two-headed dragon, while in a way, Jean has an eight-legged dragon. Well, technically six legs and two arms, but you kind of get the point. Like double the amount of limbs compared to the other girl. That's just like my opinion in a way, because when you think that, it's kind of like opposite. They each have a dragon that has multiple something. Jean has multiple limbs, dragon. Wow, Alex has a double-headed dragon. Other than that, though, it was pretty cool. I love how Jean, as a dragon rider, where basically his job is basically just to watch but not really do anything. And you can tell he's annoyed and he really does want to truly be part of the club. He even helps out a lot more than you think, despite kind of being annoying. He's kind of like Snot Loud when you start thinking about it. Because before this, we really didn't have a disliked character that much in the past two seasons with one of the Dragon Riders. I mean, they each had their own reason and they were all pretty much good kids. I also love how June in this season, because it felt like in the last season, both Tom and D'Angelo, we got to see what more relationship was like with their parents. Here, we get to see more what Alex and June's relationship with their parents. I like that we got to know a little bit more about June's dad, and how come May, who is June's mother, actually finds it know how much June finds her, how much she's like her father, following her dreams and not really getting into the real world. Of course, we know something that Ju- June's father is something with books and everything, and quite honestly, that was the reason why Jean. But still, it was all good. I love the way how come we get to see more how the relationship was with Alex and her parents, and I actually love the way how June relationship with her mother. I mean, we seen a little bit how it was in season 1, episode 1, but she just did like a quick remark, putting her magic card down and helped Tom show around the place, which, alright. But other than that, we really didn't see that much of their relationship until these episodes came out. Now, other than that, the Fire Realm was definitely interesting. Buzzsaw, I mean, it was definitely a lot bigger, and I love that we got introduced to a few new dragons, where this flaming dragon, and they have to eventually find the Fault Ripper in season 1. Turns out it never did die. It was actually alive and it was hiding underground, scared, and Tom had to learn to befriend him. Now, I wasn't all that much impressed with the Fault Ripper coming back because I already knew, because I read one of the titles and it actually pretty much explained Fault Ripper. Tom has to learn to tame it. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, so the Fault Ripper is back. I knew that a few months before season 3 came out, so I was already kind of like expecting that to happen, but I didn't know how. But I actually did enjoy the episode. I could actually see what they were going for, and honestly, it did good. Eventually, these fire dragons from the Fire Realm try to take over the Crystal Realm, which now we're finally getting to realms and everything. I know that's why a lot of people can complain. I feel like they could have done that in season 1 when they could say Crystal Realm, it's like a hidden world, or June could have said more like, no, it's a Crystal Realm. You know, when June and Tom first saw the place together? Something like that. And then we got to like Dark Realm, Water Realm, Fire Realm. I mean, now we at the very end with Buzzsaw, just like with Jean. Buzzsaw, we don't just see him like in one episode and then see him at the very last, like Jean was in the last season. Here, just like Gene, we see what Buzzsaw is doing throughout different episodes. He's mostly snooping around the forest. The first episode, he was with Gene, and honestly, I thought these two were going to kind of work together, but really, it was clearly just one episode thing, and he's just snooping around the forest for a few other episodes. And honestly, that's why we get to see what different characters are all different doing, not just seeing one character throughout the whole entire episode what they're doing. To me, I enjoy that a lot better. Now, with June, with Buzzsaw, when we eventually get to the episode when Gene meets him again, he's basically Gene is trying to distract Buzzsaw from trying to find out where the lightning bird or the other dragons are. Of course, that eventually fails, and Gene knocks him out cold and hides him. Of course, Buzzsaw has no memory, which I actually did enjoy the conversation, and we got a chance to know a little bit more about Buzzsaw past, and honestly, it was interesting. Not really much great. I mean, we just get a chance to get to know a little bit more about this character, which, okay, that's what I like to see. Because I think they should have made an episode where, in season 1, if they had done more episodes, like 10 instead of 6, here's my opinion, really where we get a chance to know more about these characters, like Tom. What if they went to what if they went to this and explain how come Buzzsaw and everything with this, get a chance to know the character. Season 2, we see Buzzsaw again with the exact same thing, but his place burns down. And pretty much, season 3, actually, honestly, season 3 and 2 really did a lot of things that season 1 I kind of wish they did, but really, they pretty much did everything, and honestly, I'm happy for that. I actually really do enjoy this series. Now, really, at the end of the season, Buzzsaw is trying to get more information, but everyone thinks he's crazy. He stumbles down a hole, and what does it lead to? Well, what we can call Snow Realm. It's basically another part of the hidden world, but it's completely covered in snow and ice. Which, to me, that's very interesting. I'm actually looking forward to it. Maybe he'll actually tame his own dragon. I mean, a lot of people are comparing him to Dagger from the original series of How to Train Your Dragon. Now, my thoughts, honestly, personally to me, season 3 is honestly kind of part of the best. It did a lot more going back and forth with all the other characters and try to get know more about them. We get to see what June and Alex's parents' relationship was more like. We also get a chance to see more of characters that instead of just getting one-off episodes and we don't really see them get up until the last, or just see them in one episode and that's that for that season. We get to see them what they're constantly doing. That was something nice. I actually love the adventuring, and quite honestly, I love the relationship, how we see a little bit more of Tom and Gene. I did enjoy when Gene actually was able to finally no longer be just watching. He actually was able to help his team and actually get the dragon back to the fire realm. And the dragon that we met, the pig, 5-chin dragon, that cute spewing off lava, returns and explains why was he in the crystal realm and not in the fire realm. So once they got him back, everything works a lot better. Honestly, I really did enjoy this season. There were some things I didn't like, but honestly, and a few questions like, why did someone left a shield down there? Or maybe they just forgot, or maybe they were in a rush to get out. Or maybe that, but really, not really a big deal. My real questions was D'Angelo getting upset, but then again, he was probably upset because he thought everything was going his way and he felt like he was doing something right, but when he did something wrong, it must have really felt hard on him. But of course, he needed to help out and learn to fix his mistakes. And honestly, when he fed dragon eggs to but it turns out he didn't know, and he thought those were rocks, and really, he felt guilty for it. But of course, it turns out the dragon eggs were fine because he was able to get the dragon to spit them out. Now, that was a problem. I felt like there should have been a permanent something he did wrong that he needs to learn from it. But honestly, at the same time, it's okay. I still have mixed opinions about it, but honestly, I can understand what they were doing. But anyway, although this really was probably the best season we got from Dragon the Nine Realms, I'm definitely looking forward to see what season 4 will bring. Now, from all this, we now have 20 episodes altogether of Dragon the Nine Realms, and I'm honestly looking forward to see what they do next with this series. Anyway, until then, this is Justin Game 44, signing out. Until then, I will see you all later. Bye!